In this video, we'll cover the Fortapay admin and event triggers. In most cases, there won't be much, if any, setup needed for this account. Most everything is done, and only in interesting or unique situations would you need to configure much more with this campaign. Um, this campaign does hold our internal form, so if there's any additional actions or changes to that form that you'd like to make, you can make those edits here. But this allows all kinds of functionality to be triggered manually, whether it's sending an invoice manually, sending a receipt, sending the customer their login information, stopping notices, etc. So this internal form that we've talked about before is used to pull up here, and then I simply come in, check the functionality that I want to start or stop, um, or send, and hit save. So let's cover briefly some of the functionality that's here. So if I want to send out an invoice notice, I just check that. If I want to start the courtesy reminders, I can check that option, or the escalated reminders, or even the collection notices. Each one of these will start our campaigns that we set up um, regarding what those notices are. If I want to send a receipt, I would simply come in and check that, a refund notice, send the customer their login information. These ones here, if occasionally maybe you're getting sending out notices for expired cards and somebody says, hey, just stop sending that. This is just an easy way to come in here and remove them from any of those campaigns. So we could have that stop. The auto charge failed notices, or have them start as well, or stop any of those. Upcoming subscription notice charges and upcoming payment plan charge notices, I can stop those campaigns as well at any point just by coming in and selecting the checkbox. If I want to send, these are a couple interesting options that makes it quite flexible. If you want to send your invoice notices to a secondary email, so let's take the example of Wiley here. Let's say Wiley had an assistant, and if I have another email saved in email address number 2, okay, maybe this would be an accountant. I would simply save that information there. And over in this option, if I check this, instead of Wiley getting the email notice, it will actually go to, it will not be sent to Wiley, but it would actually be sent to whatever address is listed in email number 2. So that's that option. If I wanted it to be sent to both contacts or both email addresses, then I would check this option here, and then it would also send to email 2 in addition to the main email address. So those invoice notices would go to both. If somebody called in and said, hey, the check's in the mail, you can stop sending me these notices, this functionality here would allow you to stop um, those, and I would just simply check the box there, and then we would indicate a date. So let's say, well, we'll give them a couple weeks, or for the check to arrive, or maybe a week. And so I don't want any more invoice notices to be sent until after this period. So I could check that there, enter in the date, and hit save. And now those invoices would not be, those notices would be on pause, and they wouldn't be sent until after that date. So that's some of the functionality regarding the form that we have here. But again, most of this is configured. There's really not any changes that you need to do to this. It's all already set up. The only other thing with this campaign there are some events here that that are set and you can set up event notices. So in Fortapay, under these event triggers, we have several options where you can trigger events, or you can trigger actions to happen in Infusionsoft based on an event happening in Fortapay. So for example, I could choose among a successful partial payment, a successful full payment. If somebody tries to make a payment and it fails, if someone updates a credit card, if someone starts a subscription or someone cancels or deactivates their subscription. So I can have these things trigger actions in Infusionsoft. Now I could have it simply send an email, I can have it apply a tag, or I can have it trigger these campaign goals. And so this campaign is set up to hold all of those events. So if you want to, for example, on a failed payment, here we'll configure this one. I would grab that. I would come over here, paste that value. And then again, we need to update our integration with our app name here. So we'll save that and also come and update that. So when I need to give this subscription. So when the subscription is canceled, and maybe I can even choose which subscription. Let's say he cancels his subscription to Acme Rocket Fuel at $50 a month. So if that happens, I can hit save here. And now when that subscription is canceled, deactivated here, then I can run whatever actions I want to. I can have it apply a tag, I can have it send out a notice to staff, any of the typical um, Infusionsoft sequence actions I can run and configure here. So any of those events I can hook up to actions here, and this campaign is really, most of these are just set as placeholders in the event that you want to set those up. We've already done some of the legwork for that. So with this campaign, again, you could probably not have to configure anything here. It's ready to go. We just need to come in and publish. If you do want to trigger events and actions to happen in Infusionsoft based on activities happening in Fortapay, we can set up these event trigger API goals, and those will work great.